The overall market just sold off in a very heavy way, and this is what the overall market looks like today. It is a sea of red, and a lot of people are starting to panic, as I do see over on X, and the sentiment has been changing heavily over the last roughly 72 hours. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, I'm hoping that by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Overall, as we do look at this space, I will say this right now. This, to me, is just another major pullback. We will continue to see these pullbacks and volatility heat up as we do get closer and closer to the big move in the market, which we will outline in this video, of course. So as we do look at a few things, we are seeing some significant red, and a lot of the red is also coming from meme coins. I'm actually seeing meme coins being some of the largest losers today. I do see some great projects that are down significantly, like for example, Mantra. Great project, down about roughly 9.2%. What I love about the crypto bubbles map is we could also highlight some great buy opportunities within the market that are down significantly on the 24-hour span back into demand zones. But overall, as we do really look here, most of the big losers today are meme coins. Even if we go over to the overall coin market cap list and we go to the 24-hour span and we go to the top losers on the top 100, again, there is some projects here that are not meme coins, but as we do go down the list, a lot of them are meme coins in terms of the top losers. If we go to the top gainers and losers in the top 500, for an example as well, there is still some green across the board, nothing too crazy. But if we go down to the top losers, GameStop, which is like a decentralized GameStop, it's basically a meme coin if we really put it into perspective, down about roughly 20%. Some other meme coins and, projects that are down. By the way, I'm going to put a big shout out to Clearpool, down 16.4% on the 24-hour span. This is a project that I do think everyone should be looking into. Might be making some videos on it later on. But regardless, there is some great buy opportunities showing. Most of the meme coins are getting a little bit wiped out today, which is expected. Now, why are we seeing this sea of red today? Why are we starting to see, a big sell-off? Well, this is just the cascade of the liquidation event that happened 48 hours ago, which we talked about in a recent video. Now, I'm going to be addressing that. I'm going to be talking about it. XRP, also down below 50 cents again. I've said it multiple times. XRP under 50 cents, it's an opportunity for me to accumulate more. If I can get 2 for $1, I'm loving it. If I can get even more than 2 for $1, I'm loving it even more. Now, beyond this, let's go look at Bitcoin. This is the overall Bitcoin chart. As we have been seeing a lot of people screaming, oh, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, calling for like massive breakouts and this. What we were talking about was the levels at which we were trading at in terms of resistance. I was looking at the lower time frames in recent videos, and this is more so on the 12-hour span, right? 71.8K. This was resistance. We rejected off of this in a heavy way. This is going back to, June 7th, roughly 3 days ago now, almost 4. And then what we saw from this was some weak price action, nothing too crazy. It was pretty much like the calm before the storm. And this was over, a couple days. And then today we got that big move to the downside. Now we are in a demand zone. I want you all to succeed this alt season, so I put together a full list of tools that you guys can utilize to track where the largest whales are putting their money in this space that could ultimately net you a ton of ROI. I'm also giving out 30 free crypto gems that are fully researched and even broken down into specific risk categories. Both of these guides are completely free. All you have to do is claim your access right now by utilizing one of the links down in the description below. What are you guys waiting for? Make sure that you guys have access to this, especially for this alt season that is nearing. This demand zone, if this does not hold, we will see the next area of interest be targeted, which is 63 to 65.5K. Now, it is a new day, technically, right? We don't know what we are going to close at, but we are going to watch this closely. The last line, and this is where we will see fake outs, 67.4K. If this is lost, then this level down here is pretty much a major point of interest that we could expect to be hit, but we could very well front run it by hitting around roughly 66K and just continuing higher from there, which we'll address as well. Now in the Discord, I'm giving you guys this 100%. I did talk about this, a few days ago now. It was actually yesterday, I believe. I put out a full weekly breakdown of what we were expecting. This was my thought process on Bitcoin at that time. I said, very simple outlook here. We reject the 71.8K level, which I just showed you guys over here. This is during this weekly candle, and we are just chopping here. Even with the recent pullback, I do have a macro trend line on this chart. And with the structure, currently, we need to be cautious, especially with buying right now. Again, because we were expecting some lower price action. 65.5K to 63K is the major demand zone that I'm looking for potentially being tested on this next move. A loss of 67.7K will be a big signal that that this range will be tested. Now, again, I just showed you guys 67.4K. It's like around 67.4, 67.7K. Again, I think this was more so on the weekly that I was looking at. So 67.7K is on the weekly. On the lower time frames, it's a little bit lower. It's about like roughly 67 point almost 4K. But regardless, I said I do think downside is limited though, and we should push off the 65.5K target. I did outline this move previously in the free charts section, and we can finally be seeing it. This upcoming week is going to be volatile, and I'm expecting Bitcoin to break out of the 74K level within the next week or so. I mentioned this because we need to utilize this time to buy the major dips when they happen. And yes, I still believe that we are going to break out of 74K. That could very well happen within the next week or week and a half, which I will address as well in this video. But this is the last major line of support, in my opinion, especially even on the lower time frames. Lower time frames give us a little bit of a better picture. But if we do lose this, I am expecting us to kind of just trail down here, chop a little bit, and then break to the upside. Now, I don't think that we have to go all the way down here to like 62, 63K. I do believe that 65.5K will hold. Reason why is because we've kind of closed around this level multiple times, but this is major resistance. As you guys do see here, this was resistance back on May 5th, back here as well around like April 18th. I want this level to actually hold. It was also a major support back in April before we had that big bounce and a potential retest of breaking out of the recent high back in March. So I do want this level to actually hold, and that's why I say like downside would be limited if we do start to lose some major price action. And this is from like roughly almost 69K. This level would be about like roughly a 5.6% move down to the downside, which is why I said like downside is limited, because we're used to seeing 10, 20, 30, 40% pullbacks in this market, especially during the bull market. Now, outside of this, I also did outline the summary, which I said I'm still expecting the market to wake up in a very large way by the middle of this month into the beginning of July. We should start to see this play out this week, and the volatility of the market should be quick. Sell-offs into demand zones with significant impulses back to the upside. Downside from here should be limited unless we lose key levels and invalidate support levels. And yes, that is a big thing. Watch for significant price action below support zones, because if we do lose them, then yes, downside is not limited and we should have stop losses in place. But I did warn you guys 48 hours ago. We were talking about the mainstream headlines and how they were so bullish. We started talking about the GameStop, mania and all that kind of stuff. And in this video, I did include this post here for myself, and I did also quote Credible Crypto. I said, remember what I have been saying, middle of June into the beginning of July. This is when the fun starts. Don't get shaken out before the best part of the cycle. These liquidation events and pullbacks mean nothing right now. Are you ready for 80 to 100K Bitcoin before the end of summer? Because I do believe that this is going to happen, especially once volatility picks up in a very large way. These liquidation events where we're, wicking to the downside and we're coming back down to grab liquidity. It's big and it's very healthy for the next big move to the upside of roughly 74K plus. Now, this is what Credible Crypto did say, and I did quote this, of course. We have 56K, 20% below when this was tweeted, and the bottom of the brutal correction. If you are reading this now, you made it through. And what he's ultimately addressing is this massive move to the downside. This is what really shook things up in the market, because this was a 23.27% move to the downside. And whether or not you want to say that, hey, this was not that big of a move, it was a $17,000 plus move to the downside on Bitcoin. That did cause a massive wipeout of market sentiment. Now, currently speaking, off of those lows, we're still up about 20.32%. And just recently, this was up about 27.25%. Now, if we're talking about this candle here to where we are at now, this is like a 5.36% move. And even if we come back down to the 65.5K level, it's like a 9% move. And even if we come back down to this macro trend line down here, and we're talking more so on the weekly, I know on the 12-hour it looks rough. This would be about like 12%, 13%. That's not that crazy in this market. Now, we have downside now limited to 60K, invalidation and realistically no lower than 62.63K, if that, with a high likelihood that this level gets front run as well. I give it about 7 to 10 days before we absolutely gigasend Bitcoin, target 100K plus. Now, regardless of if we have it in 7 or 10 days, it doesn't matter, right? We're still expecting upside potential here on Bitcoin and the rest of the market, especially with how we're kind of going about this cycle, where we are at right now in the cycle. Downside is limited. I mean, even if we, say for so we nuke from here, we're talking about 60K, all right? 12% move. These moves are not crazy in this market. This is enough to shake out the weak hands, though. This is enough to shake out those that are new to crypto, new to this market. Even if we look at the total 3, right? The altcoin market, this is on the 3-day. I'm still expecting this level here to be retested $620 billion, $626 billion. Again, if we're looking at the altcoin market, this is a downside move of like 2.7%. This is where I do think that this altcoin market bottoms out on. Now, from there, we really need to break over this $702 billion level. As you guys can clearly see, this is major resistance. I'm watching this to hold as support. This has held back in April, as well as even in the middle of May. Could we go down even lower? Could we wick down to the $613 billion level? 100%. Listen, look back at these wicks. I mean, these are deep candle wicks, and then the candle body closes significantly higher. So candle wicks will definitely fake out the market. That's why I always say, like, specific targets could very well be, they could be faked out by wicks to the downside. Even as we look at Bitcoin at dominance, guys, I want to share this real quick because we've had a fake out, right? This is a fake out below the structure. And I've been following this structure for a while. The reason why I'm expecting altcoins to go absolutely crazy this cycle is just look at liquidity in this market. Now, I'm going to share with you guys liquidity real quick right now. Look at liquidity in this market and look at the MACD on Bitcoin dominance. This is on the monthly, by the way. The reason why I share this is because the overall momentum on Bitcoin dominance has been in a downtrend since going back to June. That means while Bitcoin dominance is continuing higher here, the momentum is continuing to trail to the downside, waiting for it to flip negative. The first time that we started to see this flip negative was around August into September and October and even November of 2020. Now, yes, it did peak a little bit here in terms of bullish momentum, but it did not hold. And that's when we started to see this really change. Now, again, we're not waiting for this to change into, bearish momentum for altcoins to go crazy. No, because if we actually look at this, all we have to do and all we have to pay attention to is the significant top on the monthly. I do believe that monthly topping point on Bitcoin dominance is very close. I believe it's around 56%. From 56%, we should be limited on upside movement on the Bitcoin dominant chart, and we should start this major sell-off back into this range down here at about roughly 35 to almost 41%. That is going to be alt season, because when this is starting to break down in a big way, we are expecting Bitcoin itself to have that massive breakout above 74K, going to 80 to possibly even 100K to possibly even 120 to $140,000. Now, my personal topping point for Bitcoin, if we do see 100K plus, is $119,000. I'm not expecting more upside from there. Again, that's my thought process. You guys don't need to follow what I'm telling you. But even in terms of liquidity, remember, this is global US dollar liquidity. This has been starting to pick up in a big way, which, by the way, it started to pick up. Look at this. This is very interesting. December of last year, this started to turn green. We also started to see the M2 money supply turning positive. We started to see major money going out, major printing as well of the US dollar. And that's where I more so look at, the bond buyback program that just recently started going into July. We look at the Japan bailout. There's a lot of things to really kind of look at in terms of increasing liquidity. I do believe that US dollar liquidity is going to improve greatly, and that's what's going to provide us with a lot of fuel to move the markets higher. Now, in terms of US dollar liquidity, what I mean by that is they're going to turn on the printers, they're going to print a ton of money, and they're going to flow that into the markets to push it even higher because it is election year. They got to prop the markets up a little bit more. So I do think that that's how I'm viewing this. Again, I could be wrong, but I do think that this market is going to heat up in a very large way, and I'm still expecting a topping point of this market within 3 to 6 months. Again, I could be wrong on that, but that is my thought process. If you guys did enjoy the video, though, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.